The United States has started largest deportation in its history as hundreds of people were arrested this week and flown out of the country. President Donald Trump's administration announced that Immigration and Customs Enforcement made 593 arrests on Friday and 538 on Thursday. Trump also sent U.S. soldiers and Marines to the U.S.-Mexico border and lifted long-time rules restricting immigration enforcement near schools and churches. During his election campaign, President-elect Donald Trump promised that, on day one, "I will launch the largest deportation program of criminals in the history of America." Less than a week into his presidency, the Trump administration touted deportation efforts and published new rules Friday, making it easier to remove people, part of a flurry of actions to make good on campaign promises to crack down on illegal immigration. Amid officials' latest show of force, waves of worry reverberated in parts of the country, with officials in Newark, New Jersey, lashing out over what they called illegal arrests by immigration agents. Rumors of arrests and news reports or social media posts about the presence of agents sparked worries in communities around the country. Some rights groups launched plans to protect immigrants in the event of arrests at schools or workplaces. Chicago public schools officials on Friday mistakenly believed ICE agents had come to one of their elementary schools and put out statements to that effect before learning the agents were from the Secret Service. It heightened fears among immigrant communities in the country's third-largest city. The Trump administration is also relying on the active-duty military to help secure the border and carry out deportations. After sending about 1,500 troops to San Diego and El Paso, two Air Force C-17 cargo planes carrying migrants removed from the country touched down early Friday morning in Guatemala. Honduras received two deportation flights Friday carrying a total of 193 people, the foreign ministry confirmed. However, officials underscored that this was normal. President Donald Trump blasted the Federal Emergency Management Agency Friday as he landed in North Carolina to tour hurricane-ravaged areas, saying it hasn't done the job. "We're looking at the whole concept of FEMA," Trump told reporters on the tarmac. According to Associated Press, the comments are the latest by Trump as he prepares to reshape the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which has been on the front lines of responding to disasters in California and North Carolina. He was critical of the agency this week in an interview with Sean Hannity of Fox News, saying, "FEMA has not done their job for the last 4 years." The Republican president plans to visit North Carolina, which was devastated by Hurricane Helene in September, and California, which is reeling from some of the most destructive fires in its history, on Friday. It will be his first trip since taking office on Monday. Later in the day, in California, Trump plans to tour the Pacific Palisades neighborhood, where rows of homes burned to the ground. He's expected to receive a briefing on the fires, which are ongoing, with thousands of people under evacuation orders. Trump has showered California leaders with disdain for water policies that he falsely claimed worsened the recent blazes. "They turned off the water," Trump said. "You don't have water in the hydrants. You don't have water in the sprinkler systems. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And everyone's trying to figure out why aren't they turning it back." Trump has a history of injecting politics and falsehoods into disaster response. During his first term, he talked about limiting help for Democratic states that didn't support him, according to former administration officials. While running for president last year, he claimed without evidence that Democrats were going out of their way to not help people in Republican areas of the battleground state of North Carolina.
Well, thank you very much. Everybody thought I was going to California. I said, no, I'm stopping in North Carolina first because they've been abused by what's happened. I mean, it's terrible. It should have been done. It should have been, a lot of things should have happened that didn't happen. So we're here. We're going to fix it out. We're working with the gentlemen behind me, and you know who they are, and we're going to fix it. And we're going to fix it as fast as you can. It's a massive amount of damage. FEMA has really let us down, let the country down, and I don't know if that's Biden's fault or whose fault it is, but we're going to take over and we're going to do a good job. We're going to assign Mr. Watley, who's fantastic, frankly, and the governor and everybody else that's going to work. We're going to supply the money, we're going to supply a lot of the money. Maybe you have to chip in something. You'll chip in a little something, like maybe 25% or whatever. But we're going to get it done as quickly as we can. And we want to take care of the people of North Carolina. It's so interesting. Everybody's talking about California, and that's a mess. But I said, I'm not going to California until I stop in North Carolina. So here we are. We're going to go visit the site, and we're going to work with probably 3 of the congressmen, Republican congressmen, who've been fantastic, whose areas have been affected, and with Michael Watley, the governor, and whoever else is, we decide to get involved. Probably less FEMA, because FEMA just hasn't done the job. And we're looking at the whole concept of FEMA. I like, frankly, the concept when North Carolina gets hit, the governor takes care of it. When Florida gets hit, the governor takes care of it, meaning the state takes care of it. To have a group of people come in from an area that don't even know where they're going in order to solve immediately a problem is something that never worked for me. But this is probably one of the best examples of it not working. And there's been some others, like in Louisiana, etc. So we're going to be doing something on FEMA that I think most people agree. I'd like to see the states take care of disasters. Let the state take care of the tornadoes and the hurricanes and all of the other things that happen.
How will you respond to FEMA? Do you expect to ask Congress for additional aid for North Carolina and California?
It'll be direct. In other words, the aid will go through us. So rather than going through FEMA, it will go through us. And I think maybe this is a good place to start. Because, and in all fairness to the governor, and in all fairness to everybody else, FEMA was not on the ball. And we're going to turn it all around. Yes. And in California, just to revert to it for a second, millions of gallons of water are waiting to be poured down through already the half pipes that are already built. I mean, they've been up for 40 years. And about 20 years ago, they turned off the water. And it's the water that comes from the Pacific Northwest. Some of it comes out of Canada, and it flows there, and it probably has flowed there for 1 million years. And they turned it off, and they routed out to the Pacific. And in the meantime, you don't have water in the hydrants, you don't have water in the sprinkler systems. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And everyone's trying to figure out, why aren't they turning it back? They say it's the Delta smelt, it's a fish, but I find that hard to believe, but we'll figure it out.